All right, welcome in Wi-Fi's to yet another wireless and live transmission of the Wireless Woman. Go ahead and do me a favor on your way into the live and like this video or dislike it, like whatever you own right now. But I am so excited to present. This is going to be a presentation, baby. Just such a lovely woman and a lovely friend of mine. And on the one day that I washed my face and came in here without no mascara on, she came in slaying. Okay, I'm going to have her back after the new year just so I could wear a cute dress. But I am so excited about the subject that we're going to be talking about tonight, which is going to be all about how you can go into the new year with a new attitude, with a new diet, a new attitude, a new lease on life with your just the way that you approach your relationship to food. Both India and I lost a massive amount of weight a couple of years ago. I put mine back on. But we ain't going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how we both got it off, how to get it off, how I'm going to get it off in 2023, and a lot of the benefits that come along with that. If you don't mind, put a 1 in the chat when you come in and make sure to, put some headphones in my chat when you come in to let me know that you can hear us. I am going to be bringing in my guest. I'm super excited about it. Oh, also, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you share this live, because I know there's a lot of Black women that are in the space of wanting to get fit for this year, and we're going to be sharing a lot of gems. So I'm going to go ahead and start my applause as I bring my good friend in. Hello, welcome to the live. I am so glad to have you. This is Miss India, Sheana, and we have had the pleasure, the express pleasure of working together and being on several journeys together. How are you tonight, India?
I am fabulous, Devian. Thank you for having me here, girl. I am with the Wireless Woman, y'all. I've been waiting to be on this show for a while, low key. So I'm so excited. I'm ready to just jump in at this point.
Oh, wow. You should have let me know that ahead of time, because I actually have been watching your content, and make sure for all my Wi-Fi's that you jump over to India's channel, because she's dropping gems over there. What is your actual channel name? Is it India Sheana?
It is. That's on YouTube. That's actually across all platforms. So I'm on
Nice.
TikTok, Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. Again, YouTube. That's India Sheana, Sheana.
Perfect. And I was just telling you how lovely you look tonight. Thank you for being here, and how beautiful your background is. Like, now I'm feeling like,
Don't do that. You got this famous artwork behind you.
yes. Well, you know, the beautiful thing I love about being a woman, just in general, because it is a woman empowerment channel, is that we bring so many different elements of what femininity is. You know, we do things so differently from each other, but in a compliment, because we're like colors of the rainbow, you know, flowers of the field.
Absolutely.
So I just love it. I could never be that fancy. My kids would pull something down, but
Mine tried, but it's okay. She
I
tries.
know you, but see, you've only got the one, so
That's it. That's all I can handle. God
yeah,
said, "You're done." I said, okay.
yeah. I was tapped out at 2. That third child, that bonus kid, yeah, it's been a stretch. Speaking of which, so a lot of the content on your channel does center around your weight loss. Can you take us through your journey to starting up the YouTube channel, and where your motivation comes from?
Absolutely. Well, I've actually been on YouTube for a while. So if we're going
Um,
back to my history, just with weight loss and diet overall, to be honest, it's something I've been doing since I was like 12. I've been your yo-yo dieter. You know, I would gain weight. This isn't the first time I've lost a significant amount of weight. Back in, I want to say 2015, I lost a good amount of weight, and I ended up gaining that weight back. And just after that, I was at my heaviest. And so I had to take a different approach. So I've been on YouTube for a while, and a lot of people just started noticing, my weight loss, and they just started coming up to me and asking me, what have you been doing or whatnot. So I decided just to make one video on YouTube, just explaining what I did, because it got so complicated to the point where I was having to repeat myself. I didn't know so many people would be so engaged. And so I decided, let me kind of make one video, just giving some bullet points on what I did to lose my weight. Everyone's going to be different. And just to have people engaged that way. And then that one video, it just kind of took off, and people just wanted to hear more. They were like, well, what are you eating for this week? I'm like, oh, it's still going. Y'all are still asking questions. So I decided just to, start talking more about my personal journey with weight loss and just the things I've experienced. There's going to be a lot of ups, downs, weight loss, weight gain, all of it.
Yeah. And I can honestly say, I think a lot of that engagement does come from the fact that you were able to bring the weight down, get the weight off, but find something that worked for you. And then, like you said, keep it off, because we came across each other and we worked together for a long time. But in 2019, I think was when things really started to turn around for us both. And I was asking you backstage about that, because I was like, did you lock your hair first or did I lock my hair first? I think I locked my hair first, and then you started losing weight, and then I started losing weight. And I ended up losing about 55 pounds. I got down to 141 and my lowest. How much weight did you actually lose?
Okay, from my highest weight to my lowest weight. And honestly, I don't even claim my highest weight. So a lot of people don't know my highest weight, but from my highest to my lowest, I lost a total of 126 pounds.
Wow. Yikes. Yikes. And it's like you said, because the habits that get you to that weight are so deeply ingrained, they're so hard to break, that keeping the weight off, you see, I lost 55 pounds and I've gained about 45 of the original 55 back. So it is that time of the year where we are all around the holidays. Thanksgiving, we threw down. I know you threw down for Thanksgiving too, because I saw it on your channel.
Yes, I did. For Thanksgiving, Christmas, the weeks in between.
Yes, you've been very vulnerable, very transparent with us about your ups and downs, even within where you are. Because a lot of people, like you said, lose that weight and then they're afraid to, they're doing all types of wild things to try to keep up appearances instead of just coming out and saying, hey, I put on 15 pounds. You had a video recently, I think, about that, if you don't mind sharing it.
Absolutely. I had a video. My family and I, we took like a mini vacation. And of course, typical me, I didn't plan for it the best way I thought I would. I thought if we're going out to a restaurant, I just make the healthy choice. If they sell salads, I'll do that. I'll count my calories the way I know how. But that plan didn't quite work out. I was so off. And then it's not even that vacation, but the 2 weeks leading up to that vacation, I don't know. I was in a little bit of a funk. I just didn't feel like it. I didn't feel like counting calories. I didn't feel like eating how I would normally eat. And later on in the video, we're going to talk about resets and, getting back on track. But I wasn't feeling it. And so after that vacation, I'm home. I'm telling myself, listen, I got to do something. I got to get back on track. Because I think I ended up gaining. And I know most of it is water weight. It's not all fat, and that's why you sometimes got to stay away from the scale. But I stepped on that scale and I gained upwards of like 16 pounds within like just a month. And that for me was the biggest I've been since losing my weight and, maintaining my weight, keeping it off, that sort of thing. And so I'm like, ooh, yeah, I got to do something. First of all, I got to get right mentally and figure out why I'm in a funk to the point where I just don't feel like being my normal self, doing my normal routine. I got to figure that out. And then from there, just get right back on track. But yeah, I talk about it all and what I was eating. I got videos and food posts and all my little buffets I was going to. It was pretty rough.
And for people that are going to be coming back into this live, I am going to have the content for some of your videos for your channel and for your TikTok, your nobody's ever on Facebook, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But some of your other media in the description box so that they can, check in with you so we can get on track with you and this stay on
Absolutely.
track. So you
Absolutely.
brought up a good point that I love. Because I know when I started to lose the weight, I was in a certain place mentally. I just felt so unstoppable. It wasn't even, I don't think, about losing the weight. I think changing my mindset caused me to be in a position that my body responded to. And then as I started to see that response, it kept feeding back into that emotional, psychological place of being like, you can do this. So what do you feel like is the largest barrier, the greatest thing someone needs to focus in on to even start that journey?
I think we tend to overthink weight loss just as is. Like when a lot of people want to start, they're typically very motivated and they want to just go super hard, hit the gym 7 days a week, be in a super calorie deficit. I'm talking like military diet, like real strict dieting. And that is, if anything, that's the one thing that I talk against. Obviously, that's something that you're just not going to be able to keep up with. I don't care how motivated you are. That's just unrealistic long term. And so you really just got to slow down, let your body adjust. If you're someone and you're used to drinking 5 sodas a day, don't say you're going to get rid of soda completely. Maybe just try to reduce it a little bit at a time. So if I'm giving advice to anyone who wants to start a journey, it is to take baby steps, take small steps. Because over time, you will be able to keep up with them more. Stop trying to be perfect. We have this idea of the perfect diet, and then the minute we fall off or eat one chicken nugget, then we have to give up on our goals completely. And
Yep.
people just, I don't know, people are like that. They either are on or off. And somewhere in there, we're not finding any kind of balance. And that's how I was back in the day. If I say I'm on a diet, if I'm low carb or whatever diet is out, that's what I'm on. And the minute I mess that up and have this birthday cake or whatever else, then I'm just off because I just messed
Yep.
up the entire diet.
Yep.
So just taking those baby steps and really making small adjustments.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about calorie deficit. I know on your channel you speak a lot about about being in calorie deficit. What is that for someone who has no idea?
Okay, pretty much a calorie deficit is when you burn more calories than you take in. And so if you're a person, the average female, to maintain their weight, they eat around 2,000 calories in the day. Okay. If you want to be in a calorie deficit, you would have to eat less than 2,000 calories or take in less than 2,000 calories. So say maintenance is 2,000 calories, your calorie deficit might be 1,800 calories. That's a 200 calorie deficit. And so if you're a person and you are super active and you burn 300 calories while you're at the gym, you can still eat your maintenance calories, but then you'll be burning the extra calories while you're working out or being active. So that's another form of being in a calorie deficit. So pretty much taking in less calories than you know.
Yeah. And there are some, just, as a tip, because like I said, I've been there, got to get back there. You can find a lot of those calorie counters that will look at your lifestyle and let you know where your calorie maintenance is. So if you want to lose weight over time, or if you want to, it gives you all of that. Because I know my maintenance calories were at about 1,800 because I just carry a lot of body fat. It's important to know. I mean, carry a lot of muscle, excuse me. And so it's important to kind of know how your body type factors into that too. But I know when I had to be in calorie deficit, I had to be at 1,400 calories a day. And it doesn't seem like a big deal, but them 600 calories,
Oh, that's a lot.
cutting those out your diet, it was because 18 to 19 is maintenance for me, which is already a little bit, less. So being at 13, 14, 1,500 calories. And I think people fail to notice the cumulative effect of that because, like you said, I'm laying off at 200 calories today, 200 tomorrow, 200 the next day. You know, by the end of the week, I'm down 1,000 calories just by doing 200 calories a day. You know, and it takes what, 1,500 calories to burn a pound?
3,500 calories to
Woo!
burn a pound. Yeah. It's
My
3,500
bad. My
calories.
bad.
So, like realistically, and people talk about like fast weight loss versus slow weight loss. Some people like being in a 500 calorie deficit every day to burn 1 pound for the week. You know, people who are really in the weight loss industry don't recommend that at all. 500 calorie deficit for a day is a lot. But like you were saying, there are a lot of apps where you can type in your information, like how much calories you burn. That's going to be based on your weight, your height, your gender, your age. And so, you know, you might be eating 2,000 calories, but if you're someone and you're 130 pounds, you know, 2,000 calories is probably going to be a surplus for you, especially if you don't go to the gym or, yeah. So knowing that that is all personalized. Everybody wants to know, like, how many calories do you eat? And I'm like, it really doesn't matter. That's that, you know, what I eat, that's not going to be the same for everyone else.
Yeah. And once you push yourself into a calorie deficit, your body, I know in the beginning, I counted macros and,
Mm,
ooh, counting macros. It is like,
that's
um,
work.
it's a lot of work and people people didn't want to give me my props back at that time, but it's like packing a diaper bag every day. You got to remember everything. But I will say, after I would say about maybe 5 or 6 months of being in calorie deficit, your body naturally starts to tell you like, oh, 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 that's enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you find now that's your experience, like when you're eating over it, it's already letting you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like as soon as I'm over my calories, I just don't feel the same. And it's crazy because I track my calories and on like sometimes on purpose, I eat more because I also cycle my calories. So I'm not eating in maintenance or a calorie deficit every single day. I
Right.
cycle my calories so I can, you know, protect my metabolisms. Because if you're
Yes.
eating in a calorie deficit every day and you're doing that for 3 months, you know, your body is going to become accustomed to burning fewer calories. You know, it's an energy balance. So if you're only eating 1,500 calories every day and you're doing that consistently, your body's not going to keep burning 2,000 calories. Your body's going to say, you know what? I'm only getting 1,500 calories. Let me just start conserving some of this energy. And so now you're dropping your metabolism. Now your body only burns 1,500 calories. So you eating this 1,500 calories, thinking you're losing weight, and you're
Wait,
not.
when you're not, you're in a maintenance now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think two things came in and put weight back on me. People like, oh, it's happy weight. No, baby. I turned 40. And that's a huge difference, you know, when you hit those milestones, 30, 35, you
It
know,
is.
even when you put your information into those apps, it'll tell you like if you belong to a certain age group, I don't care if you're in the gym all day, you're only going to burn so many calories just
It's
because
true.
of the way your body is set up at a certain age. You only have so much energy available to you. And also exactly that, what you said, not cycling back up on those calories because your body is set on equilibrium. It's going to find the equilibrium wherever you put it. And I do think I slowed down my metabolism by being in calorie deficit for too long. So that's a really great tip. I know another big part of your regimen is intermittent fasting.
It is.
Tell the people all about the fasting. That's my favorite part.
You know what? It is my favorite part. It works for me. So pretty much intermittent fasting, if you're not familiar, it's pretty much time restricted eating. And so the most popular form for intermittent fasting is what we call 16-8. And so you're fasting for 16 hours of the day, and then you have an 8-hour eating window. That's the most popular form. Most days I do like a 20-hour fast, and then I have a 4-hour eating window. Um, it's something that I just kind of got into because it made it easier for me to track my calories. So at first, just trying to eat what 3, 4, 5, 6 meals a day and trying to stay within my calories, it was a challenge. And and I
Mm-hmm.
hated it because I was eating these like tiny portions. It wasn't doing anything for me. It felt like a diet. And so I'm like, what, let me just skip this breakfast, hold off for a little while, and whatever calories I saved up from breakfast, I'm gonna eat it during lunch. Them 300 calories I saved, I'm gonna eat it for lunch, dinner, or whatnot. And so I just found it more effective um, for me just to eat within a smaller window. It allows diet flexibility, so you can actually eat more,
More of what you like.
more, yeah, more of a variety of food and more food just in general. And then you're more satiated after your meals. And so
Mm-hmm.
intermittent fasting is something that just came to me. And once I started the time restricted eating, then I started looking at other forms of fasting. So then I started dabbling, into extended fasting. And, I started looking at the benefits of fasting overall, not just weight loss, but everything that comes along with fasting, mental clarity. People fast for spiritual reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Autophagy, which autophagy is like cellular repair. And so I just started looking into it, and I'm like, you know what? This is a good way for me to challenge myself. It's a good way
Mm-hmm.
for me to cycle my calories, and
Mm-hmm.
it was like just me changing up, because if you're a person, you've been on a weight loss journey for a long time, as I have since like a long time, you can become kind of bored. If you're doing the military diet and you're
Yep.
doing that
Complacent.
every single day for a year, it's like, eh. So it was a way for me just to switch it up,
Yeah.
do something
Yeah.
else. It was very effective.
Yeah, and like you said, the complacency of it, because I think for me, because fasting was really a big thing for it, because my ex-husband, he ended up losing about 25 to 30 pounds too, and I put him on fasting. Like, that was our first foray into making changes into our diet. Before I could get him to count some calories and macros and stuff, I
Yeah.
was like, let's just try fast. And one of the really big benefits for me, like you said, is it helps you to become disciplined in so many other areas
Mm,
of how you eat. Just being cognizant of that, putting that time limit on yourself, the discipline of it, you can spread it over into limiting your portions, limiting your, but until you really get to a place where you start to tell yourself no
mhm.
on some level, you're going to always have those ups and downs, like you said, those victories and crushing, crippling defeats when it comes to your weight management and maintenance, because you don't have any structure built in. So I find that fasting helps with the structure. So after these holidays, when we have let the belt loop out, okay, when we've let a couple of belt loops out, what would you say is the best way for us going into the new year to, you said something about a reset?
Yeah, like for me, some kind of detox or a reset is like so necessary, because one is helping get rid of all the bloat and all the water weight. So you're carrying around this extra weight. You're thinking you're 20 pounds heavier, and you're really not. You just need to give your body a rest, give your digestive system a rest, and like pretty much reset your mind, reset your body. So for me, I know soon I'll be starting a 48-hour
Mm-hmm.
fast. Now, and it's gonna be a water fast. I
Okay.
dirty fast a little bit, so I do like black coffee, black teas, and that sort of thing. It holds me over. It works for me. Sometimes I'll even do like a sparkling water type thing, just as long as it's zero sugar and it's not raising your insulin and it's not over 50 calories. Technically, you're not breaking your fast. So on December 30th, at about 5 p.m. is when I'm starting a 48-hour fast. Now, I saw a lady on YouTube talking about the benefits of doing like 48-hour fast, maybe every 2 weeks here and there. Um, and she mentioned it being the best way to reset your dopamine receptors. And I started thinking about that, and I'm like, dopamine,
Oh,
and you start
yeah.
thinking about the chemicals in the food. You start thinking, because there are a lot of chemicals and addictive, properties in food, especially processed foods and that sort of thing. And then you start thinking, like, every time you eat a chip, the dopamine receptors are just this bright going all haywire in your head. So she talks about resetting your dopamine receptors and resetting your palate. You know, for me, around the holidays, my palate is very sensitive. I don't want healthy food. I don't want the salad or any of that. None of that
No.
excites me. I don't want broccoli, cucumber. And so for me to get back to a point where I actually enjoy eating those things, I need a complete reset, or else I'm just gonna tumble down a very dark path and continue to eat foods that, aren't in my normal routine. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think, when you talk about dopamine and serotonin as well, because a lot of people experience a lot of sleep disturbances because of being dehydrated, over caffeinated. And so those hormone levels, because especially for the single girls like you and I don't look, I don't know, but I was, anything on the horizon? Your hair looking long tonight.
Stop that. We
Okay. I mean, because I think we're both right at the same point. I'm at 3 years and 6 months. How long have you been locked?
in January I'll be at 4 years.
Okay, so you did lock your hair first.
Yep, I started January the 9th, 2019.
I started June the 5th, 2019. So
Ah.
you did go first. Now we know what was going on. I started losing the weight in April. So yeah. So then I did it before I locked my hair. Girl, I was depressed. That was the spearhead for my weight loss was a man. So I can honestly speak to the fact that food replaces that love drug in you.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of times people feel blissful, happy, satiated, like you said, satisfied. And I know for some single women, food can really, take the place in those depressive times and those depressive states. And they have linked, those that, like you said, dopamine and serotonin release in food to that, and that's where we get those addictive qualities of those sugary, starchy foods. So do you I know when you were talking about the new year and starting over the palate, you're really serious about, okay, because if you start your 48 hour fast on December the 30th, that means New Year's Eve you're just not gonna,
I'm not eating anything. New Year's Eve is nothing, and that's my challenge for me. And then on the 48-hour mark, which will be New Year's Day
okay,
is when I break my fast. So if I
at
start at
5
5
p.m.
p.m., then I'll break my fast New Year's Day at 5
5
p.m.
p.m.
And by that time, my mindset, you know what I'm saying? I ain't breaking my fast with no Cheetos and
No.
Doritos. None
Yeah.
of that. I'm all whole, single ingredient foods. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna start right, and I'm gonna refeed myself and my mind the right way.
Yeah. I'm gonna do it with you. Gonna
You
do
gonna
it
do it?
with you.
Come on, this
Yes.
accountability.
Listen, Wi-Fi's. Let's challenge ourselves with a nice, and it's gonna be complete fast, so it's just water.
Just water. Now, if you slip up and have coffee, tea, any kind
Okay.
of liquid, I'm okay with the liquids, but
Okay. Yeah, because I did a lot of juicing as well, and I found so many benefits to juicing. It really helped me with a lot of brain fog that I had, a lot of clarity with that, especially with like beet juice.
oh yeah,
Ugh. Ugh.
I love it. I love.
Carrot juice, beet juice, carrot juice, celery juice. Like, even though it's like, oh, they are really good palate cleansers as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
especially the beets, man.
Yeah. The beets mess you up, though, because the beets, I was like, it's my period. Oh, what happened here? And I was like, oh, yeah, I had beet juice. It's really good for detoxifying the liver. I don't think people really know the benefits of beets.
Yeah, they don't. I barely know.
Yeah, I hate beets. I hate beets. But if you put it with a little bit of carrot juice, it'll go down for you. It'll go down. I can't get beet juice down by itself. I've never been able to do that. But let me ask you this. So what is an appropriate way to break a fast? Because I would always go into a fast with broth and come out of a fast with, broths with, because you can hurt yourself.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So the thing is, you really don't have to worry about refeeding unless you do a 3-day fast or longer. And so that's why I like the shorter fast, like the 36 hours, the 48 hours, because you really don't have to worry about refeeding. A lot of people would speak against you. Well, first of all, you want to eat whole single ingredient foods when you do break your fast, but a lot of people will speak against things that are like high in fiber. So your apples and certain fruits and vegetables you kind of don't need because your digestive system has been shut down, for a couple of days, and so you don't need foods that are very high in fiber because that's going to mess you up. You are going to be on the toilet, so don't do that. uh Foods that are high in sugar, you don't want to break your fast with that. So even though watermelon is, great, it's a fruit, we love it, you probably don't want to break your fast with it. So I break my fast with a bone broth, um high in the collagen. It got a good amount of sodium in it because when you're not eating, your body is going to be lacking those electrolytes, so that helps. Even like foods that are high in fats and proteins is good to break your fast with. So cucumber, baked chicken, avocado, those are my 3 go-tos after I do my broth when I'm breaking my fast.
Okay. I'm really ready in this new year to be committed to, really getting my diet together. I think it's so important for the collective consciousness of Black women. I'm wireless, so I'll be out there sometimes talking about it. But I don't think we understand, after the whole fiasco with the queen plate, the low vibrational plate and all this stuff. But I do think that we underestimate the power of the food choices that we make and what it says about where we are and where we want to go and where we want to be. So at any point in time when you have been going through this process, have you had like negative like feedback on that? Like,
Oh man, girl, I wasn't prepared for this question. I've had so much feedback. Now I will say this before I get into the negative stuff. I've had so many positive comments from friends, family, so many people
exactly.
support me. Now you have the people who say I starve myself. I get that one a lot. You're starving yourself. I've been called a crackhead. That's been a popular one. Oh, you're losing too much weight. Where are your curves at? You're not curvy. You was more attractive when you had your weight on you. You have people encouraging you to gain your weight back. And I'm like, okay, I was cute. I'll give you that, but that's not enough for me to put back on 100 pounds. Like, I don't care how ugly I am or how much of a crackhead I look like. I don't want that weight back. Like, I just don't want it back.
Yeah, and
that's okay, but no.
I don't think a lot of people have met their goals, so they don't I won't say a lot. There are people who have not met their goals, so they don't understand what it feels like. I mean, I have been told my whole life that I had arthritis. Baby, when I lost them 40 pounds, it turns out it's not arthritis. It was just the weight. And there are so many other things that come along with being heavier that until you lose the weight, you don't really have a perspective for it. Because I got skinny enough for my head to look big. I got the
No, you did.
But I think one of the biggest things you said, no, I did. My head was looking a little big, but I was like proud of it. I felt like I had accomplished something when I got the bobblehead status. But you are so right about having your tribe around you, about having other people that see your vision and are willing to put their energy towards that. Do you feel like you have that in your online community, in your personal life? Like, how do you find support in those times where Ooh, you want to go back down the road.
I know it's a little tricky, but I will say my immediate family, they're pretty supportive and they're used to me at this point. When I started losing the weight and when I got down to my absolute lowest, which was in 2021, I will say I'm about 7 pounds heavier than like my lowest weight.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at that weight I had did like a 5 day fast. I had got like real down. But they were just like, slow down. You're losing too much weight. I don't want you to lose anymore. And I understand that. For me, at that time, it wasn't even about weight loss. I was just doing new things to figure
Yep.
out new ways to maintain my weight because I was always scared of gaining my weight back because I've been in this history of weight loss, weight gain. And so I didn't know how to act, in my new low. So my family at first was like truly concerned, but now they're just used to me. They see me eating Oreos whenever I want. I just track them and I make sure I prioritize eating good foods. But they're pretty supportive. But now I will say I had to go online, YouTube, Facebook, and join a few like weight loss support groups
Okay.
or a few communities where people were just kind of in it with you. And I think that's been the biggest change from me now to me in the past is just having these different outlets. There's
Yeah.
Facebook groups for fasting, for extended fasting. So now you're with a lot of like-minded people
Mm-hmm.
who's not saying, "Oh, you're starving, you're crazy. I gotta eat my chicken wings. There's something wrong with." Like you
Yeah.
have these like-minded people who say, "You know what? I started fasting. I get these headaches when I fast." You can have somebody to relate to, and it just makes the journey a little bit more easy.
Okay, I'm gonna add that to my regiment this time because I can honestly say that my biggest supporter in the journey at the time was my ex-husband, and I think when we separated and then my father died, because I mean I was killing it all 2019, but I think the grief of it kind of came back in, and I dealt with the grief because people, it makes sense. I'm getting a divorce. My father passed.
Yeah.
People didn't have a problem. People feeding you when people die, but I didn't have accountability partners in the diet area because, nobody's thinking about that part of it when you're in grief and how
Yeah.
that's going to affect your overall mentality, going back to what I was saying about comfort food. And I want to say welcome to, the people that are coming in on the chat. Make sure you drop a headphone emoji. Let us know you there so we can call you out and chat you up. But okay, so we're going to be doing the 48-hour fast
Let's do it. It'll
on
be
the
over before you
30th.
know it. We're gonna be in
I
the new
know.
year.
I know. And it'll be a good way to restart so many more of the what they call them, resolutions that we
Resolution.
have for ourselves, because I can say for me diet is directly correlated to exercise.
Yeah.
Can you, I know you're not heavy on the whole exercise regimen, so can you kind of walk me through where you are in that process when it comes to your fitness?
Absolutely. So the working out, and I remember I was asking you this, like, because you was hitting that gym hard. I'm like, how are you doing it? Like, where are you finding this motivation? I was coming to you for advice. I'm like, girl, how? And so I had to just figure out something that works for me. Like I tried to go to the gym. I don't know why I just can't connect to that gym life and do the gym. And so honestly, I discovered just walking. And so on my lunch breaks, I get 30-minute lunch breaks at work. I decided to use that time to walk, to get some steps in. And it has been so effective. I try to get like an average of 15,000 steps in. And so I just been using walking as my tool to be active because it is good for your cardiovascular health, good old cardio. So you're burning your calories as you need to be. But walking is what did it for me. And then again, in the long haul, I said, you know what, this is something that's reasonable. This is something that I will be able to keep up with. When I'm 50, 60, 70, do I see myself walking? Absolutely. That's something that I can do. So I'm like, okay, this isn't intimidating, so I can walk. And then I just started using that as my tool just to find a reason to walk, parking far away from the grocery store, taking multiple trips to and from my car to unload my car with the groceries, just finding different reasons to move.
Yeah, and I think people need to see it in different forms because there's more than one path to fitness. You being able to say, I lost 120 pounds and all I did was walk. And I know even trainers will tell you that you cannot outrun the fork. You
Yeah,
cannot. Every fitness routine is still only going to be one portion of what you actually need to be, one small portion. Like you
you're
said, I was doing 2 a days. I was doing 3 hours in the gym. But when your body is tired,
mm,
you tend to hold on to a whole lot more weight. And I found myself doing a whole lot more comfort eating because I had the excuse of being able to be like, well, I was in the gym for 89 minutes today. I ran 14,000 miles. And like you said, it it is not sustainable. You know,
yeah.
I'm evidence of that. So that's why I said, we're gonna have to turn over a new leaf in the new year of really being cognizant of looking at our intake. We say the same thing with media. I find it crazy to see people who will ingest media that they would not let their kids ingest.
Yeah.
Like we literally feed ourselves, kids things. We don't even think about it, but you'll see something on on media and be like, oop, 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 oop. I've watched 8 hours of this, but this is not appropriate for a kid. And as I have been going through, I know it sounds way out there, but I promise it's going to come back. As I've been going through my therapy, in my journey in my therapy, like psychologically starting to protect my own inner child and think about, that inner child. Diet is a big part of that. The things we think
Wow.
about feeding our children and, what type of legacy is that going to grow into with their eating habits if all they get is chicken nuggets all the time. And so you have to start to think about yourself that way. I know it sounds crazy what I'm saying, but you have to start to
That's
think about
true.
yourself,
That's deep.
yeah, as that child, and then begin to care for yourself in that way. Would you talk to your child that way? Would you feed your child that way? Would you, when your child wants to get up and go exercise, would you be like, nah, let's watch Netflix? You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
no, you're going to put them in swim classes. You're going to do all those things for your child.
Exactly.
And you have to treat your own body like you're the parent of it, because, who else going to do it?
Hmm. Girl. Whew. That's deep. That's real right there.
Yeah, so I'm learning how to reparent myself and really start to say, I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be the one that's accountable for what I'm doing. So when it comes to counting your calories, accountability, do you keep like a journal? Like what is your process, or what type of process would you give to someone who's just starting out on this journey?
Okay, I do keep a journal. So the way I track my calories, I write it down. I have about 4 journals now at this point. Like I will write it down. If you ask me what I had for lunch 3 years ago on this day, I would probably be able to tell you. And so that's just the style I prefer, and I just keep a food journal overall. So if I'm having an off day for whatever reason, to where I just don't feel like tracking, or I notice an eating pattern, if I'm eating late at night for whatever reason, I'll kind of try to, and I know it sounds childish, but I'll try to write down how I feel, how my day was, to see if I could connect some of those emotions to why I'm eating the way that I'm eating. So I know a lot of people use like food tracking apps. You have to Lose It, the My Fitness Pals. I have that. I just don't use them. So if I'm giving someone advice that's just starting out on tracking their food, honestly, I'll say just use a food app, right?
Mm-hmm.
Track what you eat. Don't even start a diet. If you eat McDonald's in the morning, Wendy's for lunch, and then for dinner you're having pizza, completely fine. Just start to track it and see a pattern of how calorically dense some of these foods are. See where you can tweak some of the things you're eating just to cut down on some of those calories, and just start tracking your food. That's it. Don't go on a diet. Don't do anything special. Just start paying attention to what you're eating and how much of it you're eating. And more than likely, that's going to open your eyes, and that's going to cause you to make better decisions down
Mm-hmm.
the line.
I'm going to incorporate that as well. You giving me two really good takeaway group with the support group and with the journaling, because you are so correct. You can almost draw a line through certain experiences that you're having, how they make you feel inside and how you respond to that with your eating. And like I said, what types of signals that's sending back to your body about who you are and where you are, because we don't think of it as a survival mechanism. And I've been having more conversations with people about, how we have changed as a society, even though nothing about us as people has changed. Like, we're still primitive people. So when you're feeding yourself in a certain way, you're telling yourself to prepare for, fighting animals, hunting, gathering, all these different things are very they're very basic mechanisms of what it is to be human. And I know I'm going out here, but I promise I'm gonna come back. This happens to me late at night.
I watch videos. I know what's up.
This happens to me late at night. But I was talking to somebody about moving. I was like, I hate moving. And I was like, how did we get here as a people when we're nomadic people? Like, we used to just carry whatever we had on our back, go from one place to the next place. And so we have these prehistoric, coping mechanisms for our body. So, people would eat more in the wintertime because they knew, you wouldn't be able to hunt and gather the same amount of food. And so, that's where these these evolutionary markers in us say, let me store this food before, you were preparing for something. Or, we have fight or flight response. And I know for me now, as I'm getting older, whenever my anxiety is up like that, I be about to pass out. I'm like, oh, is my blood pressure high? What's going on? So, overeating like that is something that people used to prepare their bodies for, war or fighting or, taking down large animals, because we just did so much more work than we do now, that our bodies really haven't, nothing about us has changed as a result of our, industrial revolution and technological, advancements. So I think people have to go back in their mind now, and we have to make those adjustments in how we think about the purpose of food, because so much about our lives has changed.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, girl.
I know I went way out there.
I love it.
But journaling is something, like you said, that really helps you to keep track of why you're doing what you're doing, and then gives you an accountability system. So I think that's really great that you know what you were eating 3 years ago. Cause if I had a food journal right now, I'd be so ashamed of myself. I'd be like, pizza.
Yeah, pizza's in there. It's all there. McDonald's, Wendy's, it's in there.
Yeah, and when you're seeing what you don't want to see, though, you got an account of how you got there. So it's been really, really great watching your process. For the people who are late in the chat, for the people that watch one part but ain't gonna watch the rest, you know how it goes over here in these YouTube streets. Let us know again how we can connect with you. Do you have like a contact? Because I know people are going to see, you guys start your own support group now, because I know people are going to want to connect with you in this next year coming up. So how can we do that?
Absolutely. Find me on any social media platform, guys. I'm at India Sheana on everything. This is across all platforms, Facebook, Instagram. I'm on Twitter. My main platform is YouTube. I post there every week. So yeah, at India Sheana, that's SHEANA, and that's on everything.
Wonderful. Do you have any parting remarks that you would like to leave for the people?
Guys, but first of all, thank you for tuning in, and please continue to watch The Wireless Woman, because listen, I'm a fan. When I can't articulate something to someone, I say, you know what, here's the link, because y'all getting on my nerves. Like, go listen to this and watch this woman, because she just spitting facts at this point. But guys, I appreciate you having me here, Devion. I had such a good time. I'm honored to be on this show here with you.
Well, I want in the new year to do a panel. I know you've got some things coming up as well, but I definitely want to keep checking in with you throughout the year, because I am so big on food sustainability. I'm so big. I really believe the only way for women in general, and Black women in particular, to live the victorious lives that are our destiny, They're just, I mean, our mitochondrial DNA, the way we are made, you know, wonderfully and fearfully made, we have to be feeding ourselves, have the right mentality about who we are as people to really put forward our best product out in the earth. You know, the things that are being said about Black women, you know, we're not fit, we're not feminine, we're not friendly, are all coming from that same place. And that's why this is such a big deal to me, why it was so important to have you here, why I'm so thankful that you were able to come, especially before the new year, so that so many of us can really have this conversation, get people around us that are like-minded. That was one thing you said in this, you know, I was taking notes.
Yes.
Taking notes. And that was one of the things that you said in this live that I think is such a big thing for us. And so with you being a part of that tribe here at the Wireless Woman, detoxing the mind, you know, thinking about things differently, and then also taking that new lease on how to look at things to being dynamic in our diet. I want to continue to partner with you. I want to continue that relationship.
Please.
So thank you for coming. You know, this is late night for us ladies.
Hey, girl, I'm about to go. I'm this bed right here.
I know you're going to be like, after this. That's why I didn't even get all cute, because I know I got to go to bed. I've been out for too many days. But resting your body, fasting is really just a rest, you know, being cognizant of the amount of calories that it takes to actually run your body and not putting yourself into a surplus. It's just going to make you sluggish.
Oh,
you know,
God.
You gave us so many good tips. Make sure you follow India Sheana on all of the social media platforms. I am going to be coming back into this video and sharing some blurbs from here and putting all of your videos, some of your videos, into the description box. So please, people always ask me, they're like, where can I find? It's in the description box, okay?
There you go.
Okay? I've chewed it up. I'm spitting it out for you. Just go to the description box. So thank you so much for being here tonight, and we will be back in the new year with you again.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good night, India.
Hey.
All right. It was so great having her here. Listen, people, that's really such a treat for me. I give her applause. I wanted to applaud her out. Y'all know I'm slow on the draw when it comes to stuff like that. But this was so awesome. For everyone that was able to come in, make sure you check out the replay of this live and share this live. This is what Black women need to be focused on in the new year: our health, our wealth. We are being unplugged at this time to be unleashed. And a big part of being unbothered for me and having my psychological, emotional, mental, and physical health has been being on a journey when it comes to my diet. It's just like every other facet of your life. And I brought someone here that did it, is continuing to do it. She kept the weight off when I couldn't, baby. Okay, that is really a big deal to lose over 100 pounds. And we didn't even get into the love life conversation. So I gotta bring her back, because baby, things are different when you lose that weight. Okay, blood start flowing in places where it wasn't flowing before. Okay, so let's definitely continue to grow our tribe of women and do what it is that we have been given the creed to do. We come from so many great, liberated, focused Black women that it's time for us to be on our shit in 2023. I want you to drop that fire headphones emoji in the comments. I look forward to engaging with you there. Make sure you come back to this video in about an hour. I will have all of India Sheana's links in the description box. I love you guys. Y'all can go ahead and clock out for me. You're dismissed. You know the drill. You know the drill.